Hello and welcome to another of these audio video commentaries. We're just going to talk our way through this last bit of footage we've got from the Bentley Road end of the friendly versus the committee squad of 6, which is a five-a-side team against Team Thor, a name that was hastily constructed really because the emblem of the Thursday group is Thor's hammer. Sorry about the wind noise there, it was a problem all day. The wind filter is on the camera, but it's not that good really. But anyway, hopefully you can hear me over the wind, or not. You can even turn the sound down. So, Team Thor at this end, sweeper keeper Nigel Metcalf with John Leach, Brian Hadfield, Tracy Blanchard and Les Bregan. At the moment, the substitute up at the far end will be Jerry Markland. They rotated the substitutes on the day. Committee had a different tactic. I played in the first half and pre-arranged. Tony Cravigan came on in the second half. I think in fact I know the committee team are leading 3-0 at this stage. It was 1-0 at half time. This is sweeper keeper, a game that we played pre-pandemic, but since COVID appeared on the scene, it's all that we've played at King Street when we've had the chance to do so. 3-touch, mini goals, no keepers. It's an excellent game based on precision, not power. The idea is pass and move, find a pathway, a channel to goal, and stroke the ball home rather than blast it, because if you blast it, you're more likely to miss. It's very popular. A lot of players like it, some actually prefer it, but we are going back to walking football, the conventional game, quite soon. Next week in fact. We've had a gloving programme to get our occasional goalkeepers fixed up with gloves. Thanks again to the Football Foundation, who are also paying for this extra pitch time that we're taking advantage of. It's a rare afternoon game at King Street. We've got another one lined up on June the 10th. That will be conventional walking football. 3-touch. Most of what we play at Denton is 3-touch. But we're preparing to introduce multi-touch on the last session of every month, just to try and keep people happy. There's a small element who prefer multi-touch, although a large proportion of those people do recognise that 3-touch cuts down on contact, which is the aim really. We don't want anybody limping home. We are quite restrained, I think, most of the time at Denton. All games are refereed, well 99.9% of games are refereed. Gordon Nixon shouting for the ball. He had a fine game, Gordon, as did Colin at sweeper keeper for the committee. Really did have an excellent game. He's mastered that role. His knack of blocking off the pathway to goal is second to none. There are a few that are good at that, but it is quite a specialist position. I quite enjoy playing it myself from time to time. Committee team in black, of course, kicking this way. Despite going 3-0 down, Whites never gave up, kept plugging away. The scoreline did slightly flatter the committee team in the end. Gary Pearce, who's normally referee, of course, is playing for the committee. Came onto the committee 2 or 3 weeks ago. Nigel Metcalf there, moving out to the side to intercept the ball. The wind has abated a bit. We did get one freak gust that played havoc with the cones and the markers, and lasted for about 30 seconds, but it was as strange as anything I've witnessed weather-wise. Really was a bit of a phenomenon. It was almost biblical, the way it suddenly came and suddenly went. I think most of us will remember that gust of wind for a long time. ball is a size 4. We use size 4 balls at Denton. This is the second bit of coverage from the second half. I almost deleted this, but spotted it at the end then. Thought that before it's deleted from the micro SD card, I thought we'd put it on YouTube like we do so often. I think we've got about closing on 450 videos now on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel if you're watching, even if you got faults. If you want to nitpick some faults on here, pace, etc., you're welcome to do so. But I would appreciate a link to your video hosting, and we can see we can compare and contrast your sessions with ours. This is what we do at Denton, and long may we continue doing it. Obviously some of our referees are a bit stricter than others. He's about to launch an attack. Fielding gets the ball, pushes it forward beautifully to Pierce, dances round Nigel Metcalf to strike. Good goal. As you may have gathered, there's a game going on the adjacent pitch to the left there at the church end. That again is Thursday players, who about 10 or 12 of them turned up to get an extra game, which is not an opportunity that arises too often, but again, thanks to the Football Foundation, we booked the entire pitch. From Denton Youth, which is our hosts. They own this superb little facility at Denton, about 6 or 7 miles from the east of Manchester city centre. Captured a lot of footage lately from the Castle cameras, unmanned of course, and a fixed focal length, so you can't zoom in. But they're best watched on a bigger screen as you can manage, really, if you've got a laptop or a desktop computer. Not a lot of good on a phone, I wouldn't have thought. And while I'm doing this voiceover, I'm only looking at a 4x3 inch screen. But if I view back on the laptop, I can get it up to about 14 inches by 12, which helps with the distance shots. But they're well worth having, good pieces of kit. I can recommend them to any group who wants to record their sessions. Not expensive, about £40 on Amazon. Dog's just joining in there. They do have their limitations, and you do have to bear them in mind throughout the I mean, if it had started throwing it down, for instance, I'd have had to remove it. You don't want to expose them to the wind, although you do get a clear plastic cage that you can put them in. But if you do that, it doesn't record sound, so. But it's an option, and of course the lens would get, even the lens on the plastic case would get wet, obscuring the image. Sorry to drone on. Speaking of drones, that's the only thing we haven't really got at Denton. Who knows what the future might bring. Here's John Leach retrieving the ball. Oh my goodness, what's he done? This is one of the limitations, you see. Nobody noticed that the camera was now skew-whiffed. And that's the end of the proceedings as far as this little camera is concerned. So we'll wrap it up here. Thank you for watching. Thank you.